slick organisations usually.
Yeah, so it must be a problem for the very small family-owned businesses that you mentioned earlier, I guess. Then.
There's a big investment needs to be made if you've got an old ERP, and suddenly Travis Perkins Group have got an app-enabled, 1 hour delivery service. That's a big challenge for you to compete with that. And I think that's what companies like Travis Perkins are investing their money in, rather than buying new branches, because they've already got 750 branches. That's a lot of branches. They don't really need any more branches. In fact, they need fewer. They just need their customers to be able to get the deliveries more easily, and that's what they're trying to do via their back office ERP stuff.
Okay, understood. Very helpful.
Yeah.
I think we've covered. I think it's well understood. Maybe can we go back into more detail into the section about cyclicality, which is a second on my list. We've just touched the topic a little bit. Can you develop a little bit on that? Explain how so the big guys, Travis Perkins, Jurison, etc., and the smaller independent handled the last downturn in 2007, 2008,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. If you look at the number of branches that they had before the recession and the number that they had after the recession, it hardly changed. And the reason for that is that it's this issue of proximity to the market. So builders merchants understand that if you close a depot, close a branch, then you're going to lose market share, because the builders that are close to that depot will look for the next closest stockist and go and buy their product from there, basically. And so if the market reduced by 20% and you closed 20% of your branches as a result, or in answer to that challenge, when the market returns, your market share will have gone down if your competitors have not closed their branches. And so actually what they did during the recession was to try to control their costs. They but not by closing branches. So they reduced the number of staff that they had in the branches, and they reduced the number of vehicles that they had on the road, and they tried to reduce the purchasing costs and maximise their selling costs. They tried to do all the things that anybody would do. But what they didn't do is the thing that a lot of people might have expected them to do, which was to close branches or sell them. They didn't do either of those things. And I think that going forward, they won't do that. If there's a new recession, they'll simply fire a load of people at head office, collapse their management structure, and keep as few people as possible at work in the branches. And then when the market comes back, they'll re-employ all those people again, which is what they did last time.
So it's really like a bit like wait for the for the bad weather to and
exactly. It's just it is. Yeah, that's really funny. Yeah, it's exactly that. It's like, yeah, when the storm stops, we'll open the windows again. Yeah, it's like that. And but the last thing you should do. I mean, I'm not saying they're right, but this is the way that they all think. When I was a builders merchant, which I was for a few years, and working at quite a senior level in Saint-Gobain as Juson's national sales director, so I had 600 salespeople and 600 branches. We never ever discussed closing a branch. Never. Even if the branches were losing money, we'd always try and find a way of stopping them losing money rather than closing them or selling them, because proximity to the market is so important to those guys.
I see. There will be some reputation issues probably as well. I see. Very interesting.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they spent a long time developing that branch network and spent, millions of euros on doing it. In fact, hundreds of millions of euros doing it. And they're not about to just start closing branches. So, yeah. I mean, sometimes they don't renew a lease. If they've got a lease and that lease is up, they may quietly vacate, but usually they try and find another location close by. Tends to be what they do.
Worst case, yeah. Okay.